I tried out a couple of things this afternoon. I did, first of all, this pile of books where I had a bigger books stacked up, and I just thought it was very boring. You know, when it's like this, it's boring.
Okay.
And also in relation to the paper, you know, the size of the paper, the drawing, you know, the shapes are too big. So I had another go, and I feel this is nicer. It's got some space around the subject. I haven't included my plant, which you can see on the table behind the books, because basically this is what I was concentrating on. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we do this, I really feel I need to talk a little bit about how you approach it. When you look at anything that's in any way cuboid, in some form of perspective will come into play in order to make your drawing look convincing. Now, I know we're looking down on those biscuits. So the biscuit that I'm looking at, this one here, is sitting on top of the basket. So I'm not looking down on it as if I was a bird, Chris. I'm actually looking at it sort of, and it's more or less front on to me. Okay. Now if you have a book in front of you, or a box or whatever you want, if you put it below your eye level, you'll be looking down on it. If you have it a little bit raised up, then you're seeing the side of whatever it is. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can see a bit of the side of this biscuit. So always vertical lines remain vertical, no matter what. Okay.
Yeah.
So the side of my biscuit has a little vertical line. The bottom of the biscuit is parallel with the top part of the biscuit. That's that edge there. So the space is equidistant between them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the other side, this side here, is slightly at an angle like this. Following this line, they eventually will come to a point somewhere. If I continue those up here, if you imagine this, if I carried on drawing these, hold on, I'm going to move my basket out of the way. Okay, if I carried on, eventually these lines would meet at a point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, the rules of perspective say that all parallel lines diminish at a point on your eye level. That is the rule of perspective. So that point where the lines actually converge is where my eye level is. Okay, off the page. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, when I'm drawing my biscuit, I have to remember this. I have to remember that those lines are going towards a point somewhere on my eye level, no matter what size they are. I know they're tiny, but that's what they're doing. And the biscuit on top of this one, there's one, even if I just had one biscuit, well, I've got two biscuits. The biscuit on top, again, the front edge of the biscuit is parallel with this edge. So it's it follows the same sequence, more or less. Upright for its upright bit, and then again its front edge is like that. The back edge follows the same line of perspective as the other one, and the back edge is parallel to the front edge. Sorry if I'm drawing this a little bit squiffy. Right, so this is the top of my biscuit here. This is the front of the biscuit. That's a bit of a wafer, and I can see a bit of the side, not much, but a little bit. Okay. And this biscuit, again, I can see a bit of the side of that one as well. Okay, would you like to just draw two biscuits or two boxes or whatever you've got in front of you and see if you can get them to look convincing using that system? Okay. And while you're doing that, I'm going to do the third biscuit. Just remember that all the vertical lines must remain vertical, no matter what.
So because I'm looking down on mine, the disappearing lines are what effectively, as yours, are my diminishing ones.
Yes. Yes, that looks good, Claire.
I had to really think about it, and if I put them, I had them in one position first that was a bit more difficult, and then I put them in a more obvious position.
Yeah.
So do you start on that front flat bit?
Start from the bottom, yes, the bottom edge. And just do it parallel to the top edge. Don't do any turning or anything else. Hold on, show it to me. You'll have to show me your drawing.
Well, I haven't done it yet. I'm still trying to work out what to do.
Well, if you I'll just do it once more, Chris. Look.
Yeah.
The front edge.
Yeah.
Vertical, vertical.
Yes.
The top, slightly diminishing.
Yes.
The back edge. Now this, if it's in this position and that line's going like that, you'd hardly see this side edge.
Yeah, I see that.
However, I'm just going to do one more, just please look. If you're doing the front edge like this, you do the back edge, the top like this, and the other one going off at this angle. Then you bring that back edge down as a vertical. Then you can just join them up. You just see the side of the box like that. For those of you that have got watercolour, I use Payne's Grey and water. For those that haven't, you can dilute your ink, but do it in a jam jar. So because ink, if you do it on a palette, it'll ruin it.
Did you pencil in first?
Sorry?
Did you pencil in all the drawings?
No, I didn't use any pencil, Chris.
Oh, so that's straight in with wash, is it?
I went straight in with wash. But you need to, if you use watercolor as a wash, you can wash it off with clean water and the paper towel if you go wrong. If you'd feel happier working with a pencil first, then I'm fine. But I think one of the disciplines about using pen and ink is it makes you really look and judge the lines and the shapes before you actually put a mark on your page. Whereas if you know you can rub it out, it's it is easier, but it doesn't challenge you in the same way. But I'll leave you to decide how about that, whether you do it, with a pencil first or not. I was just saying to the others, Gillian, that this is a little bit of a boring composition and it's too big on the page. So I then redid it and did this one, which I think is more interesting. I put in the cast shadows and I actually again use, well, in fact, I used my pen first. I'm using just you know, a Pilot 0.7. And then I added in a bit of wash, which I did with this Payne's Grey and water to create the tones in the image.